What is up, people of the Arrowverse? Welcome to what is mainly a Flash Season 7 video, because we just got some very interesting teasers, and I feel like if you add this up with what Eric Wallace has been saying and the Reverse Flash cliffhanger, you may be able to put one and one together, but ultimately I really want to see your responses down in the comments below to that, which we'll get onto in just a second. But we've also got some information about the CW full schedule. When is the Flash returning? When is Batwoman returning? When is Black Lightning returning? What's going on with Superman and Lois, which there may or may not be a new poster, which you're probably seeing on screen right now, and some information in regards to a show that Superman and Lois will be crossing over with. So plenty of stuff to get on with in this video, guys. Lots of speculation, so let's get right into the Flash talk, because, well, as you may know, the Flash has ended, for now at least. It ended prematurely because of the situation going on in the world. They could not literally film anymore, so therefore the cliffhanger, yeah, let's just say it wasn't the best opportunity to leave it off as a finale when you had 3 episodes to go, but that's not the show's fault. But either way, we've already actually got the teaser and synopsis for The Flash Season 7, and I mean, this is kind of reaching, but like, we have a good idea as to who the villain could be, but we'll get to that in a second, because I really want to ask and engage with you guys about what this means. So let's read it. So after a thrilling cliffhanger last season, which saw the new Mirror Master victorious and still at large in Central City, the Flash must regroup in order to stop her and find a way to make contact with his missing wife, Iris West Allen. With help from the rest of Team Flash, which includes superheroes Caitlin Snow, Cisco Ramon, Ralph Dibny, and Nash Wells, as well as the Flash's adoptive father, Joe West, Meta Attorney Cecile Horton, Tough Club reporter, how is this going to keep going? Allegra Garcia, and brilliant tech nerd Chester P. Runk. Wow, they really do keep going. Flash, this is the interesting part, ... Flash will ultimately defeat Mirror Master, well, obviously, but in doing so, he'll also unleash an even more powerful and devastating threat on Central City. Interesting, right? Interesting. But this is the key interesting point it makes in the last line of the synopsis. One that threatens to tear his team and his marriage, like literally hyphen and his marriage hyphen, apart. Like, the fact that they decided to put and his marriage in there apart makes it oddly specific. Oddly specific, guys. Now, we could be reaching, but what, like, if we bear in mind as well what Eric Wallace teased. Now, what did Eric Wallace tease not so long ago? Well, Grant Gustin first, but then Eric Wallace expanded on it. Grant Gustin said there was meant to be a big Reverse Flash cliffhanger in the finale, which you can only assume lines up with the Ava McCulloch Mirror Master being defeated, right? So surely this maybe has something to do with that, but now fans are starting to think, because it's not just me saying this, like everyone's like really getting, maybe jumping the gun with excitement. Now, what if they meant through a Thawne cliffhanger, maybe they didn't mean Eobard Thawne, maybe they meant Eddie. Now, I know, that may sound really wacky, but here's the thing. This is why I think a lot of people are immediately thinking, oh, what if they're doing Cobalt Blue? What if they're doing some weird iteration twist on the Reverse Flash with Eddie somehow? I know what you're thinking. Like, this is something fans have wanted for ages. Can and will they actually be doing it? Well, I think let's take some things into account. It's about time. I think we kind of want to go back to somewhat of a speedstery villain, and although Cobalt Blue isn't specifically that, you know, with his unique abilities and stuff, they can certainly mimic the aura and presence and excitement that fans have and the audience have with the Flash's speedster villains, for sure. And the reason why I'm, you know, actually leaning towards it possibly being Eddie in one way or another, because, you know, just where it says Flash will ultimately defeat Mirror Master, but in doing so, he'll unleash, you know, through literally defeating Ava, he will unleash an even more powerful and devastating threat, which is, you know, interesting. There's been several times before where Barry has done something that as a result is springboarded, like the Singularity, and then Zoom came through it, you know, unleashing a bigger threat. You know, that's kind of cool. It's a cool segue into a new thing. The Thinker created Cicada, blah, 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 blah. But this, it's like one that threatens to tear apart his team and his marriage apart. That seems oddly personal. Someone who just wants to threaten Team Flash and his marriage seems like somebody who wants revenge. Does it not? I don't know. Now, the thing is, some people have criticized, I mean, at least I have before, that the prospect of Eddie Thawne coming back and just being like, oh, you're with my ex-girlfriend and whatever, and you're now married. Screw you, Barry. I'm gonna tear you apart and tear Team Flash apart and tear Central City. That just seems awfully basic, doesn't it? Now, I think they could still go along those lines, because when I say it out loud or put it on paper like that, a little bit of a jealous ex-boyfriend, Cobalt Blue or Reverse Flash infused Eddie Thawne twist is a bit, I don't know, a bit cheesy, a bit too cheesy for even the CW to do. So what I'm saying there is, even though it might have that main base core, like it could be something like that, it doesn't mean it'll come off as cheesy as that. They could really add a lot more complex story to that than what I just said there, for sure. But hey, at the same time, this is why it's a discussion video and why I need your responses down in the comments, guys, because what if it isn't Eddie Thawne? And it's like, you may be thinking, what you want about Boba, because like, we were getting what you were going on about there, so why are you changing it back on not being Eddie now? Well, it's because they did say it was a Thawne cliffhanger. You guys heard what Grant Gustin said. I'm pulling up a page now. Grant, I don't need to really quote that. I'm paraphrasing him, but he said there would be a big Reverse Flash cliffhanger. And then Eric Wallace actually commented on that not so long ago, and I covered this in the video the other day, and he says, but don't worry, that gets rolled into next season, and he's referring to the Reverse Flash stuff, so we'll have to finish the Blackhole storyline and find a different way to weave in the Thawne stuff. Now, having said that, I know what you're thinking. Well, I'm disappointed, Eric. I love Reverse Flash. I love Thawne. There's got to be a way to give us what we want this season. And that's when he says, well, I'm happy to report we did come up with a very crazy solution that now in the, how should I say it, not in the season finale, but perhaps soon thereafter, it gets resolved in a way that I think fans of the Reverse Flash are going to really just giggle with delight. Now, that doesn't scream Thawne, like Eddie Thawne to me. You could look into it and just be like, oh, Thawne might not mean Eobard, it could mean another Thawne, but they're saying Reverse Flash, and Cobalt Blue isn't he isn't the Reverse Flash, albeit that his powers can somewhat mimic, through stealing speed, a speedster with it, especially with the blue to him, and I don't know, but I think the thing I want to get to on the bottom line here is that they're most certainly teasing that it was Reverse Flash being the cliffhanger for this season. I have no idea if that also means that somehow, especially given the synopsis for season 7, and I do want to add the side as well, because I always do say this in terms of that, even though they're saying Reverse Flash twist, even though they're saying Thawne twist, that could still mean Eddie. I know that sounds a bit crazy, but they could be like pulling a little bit of a bluff, and it still is Reverse Flash, but something crazy happens in the cliffhanger that makes him Eddie, or maybe somehow like he inhabits Eddie's old body and that was still somewhere out there, or I don't know. You know what I mean? This is where it gets crazy speculative, theorizing territory. But the main thing I wanted you guys to think about is, that one line, Flash will ultimately defeat Mirror Master, but in doing so, he'll unleash an even more powerful and devastating threat on Central City, one that threatens to tear his team and his marriage apart. This could just literally mean Thawne in a nutshell through saying that. He always wants to get to Barry, so tearing apart Team Flash and his marriage. And you could say, why would Thawne care about doing that? Isn't that a bit too, why would he care about the marriage? I don't think it's from that angle. Maybe Thawne would still want to do that because he wants to get to Barry. And one way of doing that, of course, Jesus, just like the classical superhero thing, if you have someone you care about, then they're going to try and go after them. So it might be that, but when they say his marriage, it seems like more tactical. I don't know. It's like, oh, I want to tear your marriage apart but keep you alive. So that just seems a bit, I don't know, hard to believe. So maybe it could be Eddie there. If they do actually do Cobalt Blue, though, I really don't think he's going to be Barry's brother. I don't think he's going to be the son of Nora and Henry Allen. I think it will be a completely new, innovative, as what a lot of TV shows do nowadays. They will take the character, just like Savitar or something like that, and completely change it, but have the same name and some of the core principles. So, for example, if Eddie Thawne was the enemy of next season, and he was Cobalt Blue, they would have similar powers, similar aesthetic maybe, but the backstory would be completely different and morphed and shifted into this maybe twisted Reverse Flash Cobalt Bluey Eddie Thawne that somehow survived, or in a post-crisis Mirror Master-esque way. I don't know. A lot of blending of words there. I've been going on about this far too long now, so let me know your thoughts down in the comments below as to who you think this new, powerful, more powerful than Ava McCulloch and devastating threat could be. But I did say I had some other things to talk about, so when is the Flash returning? Well, that's quite some time away, because unfortunately, guys, the Flash has been delayed until January January 2021. So, you know, as usual, The Flash normally premieres its new season in October, but due to the situation going on, the CW, the schedule has shifted, like its full schedule. That's why, if you check out my last video, they've actually acquired Swamp Thing to actually show that in their full schedule, because we won't be having shows like The Flash. They've got a lot of blank spots now, so that's why they're implementing shows like Swamp Thing, because like, why not rebroadcast that for people? But yeah, guys, that's that. Like The Flash, Black Lightning, Batwoman, Superman and Lois, that's all mid-season now. So we're just gonna have to wait a long time to find out what any of that cliffhanger stuff meant with Reverse Flash, or whatever this season 7 synopsis means, until literally like around the end of January or so. So yeah, that's lots of theory videos incoming, I suppose. But there was another interesting thing to note as well, and you may have seen the poster already in this video, but you know, we've got an official Superman and Lois poster with somewhat of a logo now that is probably still subject to change a little bit. But we've also learned that Superman and Lois and Batwoman will apparently have a 2-hour crossover sometime next year, which is interesting because obviously normally you would think that would be more like Supergirl and Batwoman, but at some point next year they're gonna do an actual Superman and Lois and Batwoman crossover, which is, God knows what that plot could be. And another thing as well, it's probably going to be the only Batwoman episode I tune into again for the first time in ages, because as some of you may know, I'm really not fond of that show. That is absolutely everything for today's video. So sorry I rambled on so long about the whole Flash Season 7 synopsis tease, but you know, I think we all really want an absolutely mind-blowing villain like we had in Season 1 and Season 2. And I think some people, you know, really targeting those words of tear apart their marriage, you know, got some people excited, including myself, to be honest, about the prospect of actually seeing an Eddie Thawne Cobalt Blue, even though this could still mean just a Reverse Flash. So anyway, guys, leave me all your thoughts, all of your speculation down in the comments. Like this video if you did enjoy it. Make sure you subscribe for more updates just like this and speculation discussion videos. You can follow me on Twitter. My Discord link is in the description, along with my Patreon, where you can support the channel. You can also do that through the join button, which is somewhere around here. But definitely check out my last video as well, which is on Swamp Thing coming to the CW, as well as Doom Patrol Season 2 news. But yeah, that's everything. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you speedsters in the next video. Goodbye.